Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see about Restoration England. Restoration England is said to be the period starting from 1660, and this is the year when Charles II came back as the king to the English throne. And it is not only that, it was also a turning point in the country's political, social, and cultural life. There were so many phases of civil wars, regicide, and republican rule under Oliver Cromwell. And generally, this term restoration refers to the re establishment of the monarchy, that is, the king rule. But at the same time, this period also reflects the restoration of public life, religious tolerance, literary freedom, and the revival of aristocratic values. It was also a time of contradictions, rich in culture and learning, yet tainted by vice, political intrigue, and inequality. The restoration set the stage for the development of modern constitutional monarchy, the growth of urban society, and the flowering of English literature and theatre. When we see the historical and political background, the English Civil War, which took place from 1642 to 1651, had ended with the execution of King Charles I and the establishment of the Commonwealth under Oliver Cromwell. The country was ruled as a republic and later a military dictatorship, which proved deeply unpopular among the people. Cromwell's Puritan regime was marked by moral rigidity, suppression of artistic expression, and religious intolerance. After Cromwell's death in 1658, there was a strong desire among the people and also by the parliament to return to a stable and legitimate form of government. In 1660, Charles II, the exiled son of Charles I, was invited to come and occupy the throne and be the King of England, and this marked the restoration of the monarchy. The new king was welcomed with public celebrations and widespread hope for peace and normalcy. However, Charles II ruled under a changed political landscape. Now the monarch was limited by parliament and his powers were more ceremonial than absolute. This laid the foundation for constitutional governance, even though the final form of parliamentary democracy would evolve later. And in the political and religious climate, we find Restoration England was politically unstable despite the return of the monarchy. The Cavalier Parliament supported the monarch, but tensions between the king and the parliament remained the same. The period witnessed the emergence of early party divisions, especially between the Tories, who were the royalists and supported the king, and among the Anglican Church and the Whigs, who supported the religious toleration and parliamentary authority. Religious conflict continued to dominate public life. While the king promised toleration in the Declaration of Breda, Parliament passed laws like the Clarendon Code, which discriminated against nonconformists and Catholics. The Test Act in 1673 further excluded Catholics from public office. These laws were a reflection of the continuing fear of Catholic plots and absolute tendencies, especially with the memory of civil war still fresh in the national consciousness. The Great Plague in 1665 and the Great Fire of London in 1666 were significant disasters that shaped the era. Despite these two tragedies, the capital was rebuilt with renewed planning and architecture, spearheaded by Sir Christopher Wren, who designed St. Paul's Cathedral. And when we see the society and urban life, Restoration Society was marked by a contrast between refined elegance and moral looseness. The court of Charles II became known for its decadence and indulgence, with numerous mistresses and illegitimate children adding to the king's colorful image. In contrast to the puritanical values of the previous regime, this period saw a return to pleasure, fashion, and entertainment. The king's court became a model of continental manners, emulating the sophistication of French society. The growing urban middle class, especially in London, began to assert influence, commerce, trade, and colonial expansion, which offered new opportunities for wealth and mobility. The Royal African Company and East India Company extended British trade and influence abroad. Social mobility became somewhat possible, although the class system remained rigid overall. And when we see to the restoration on literature and theatre, this restoration age is especially celebrated for the revival of literature and theatre, which had been suppressed under Cromwell's Puritan rule. Theatres were reopened and the first professional actresses appeared on the English stage. This was a revolutionary change, replacing the earlier tradition of men playing female roles. Restoration comedy became one of the most notable literary forms of the period. These plays, often cynical and witty, reflected the moral laxity of the age. William Congreve, George Etheridge, and Aphra Behn were prominent playwrights. Aphra Behn, notably, was one of the first professional female writers in England. Her plays and novels introduced themes of gender, power, and colonization. Poetry and prose also flourished. John Dryden, the dominant literary figure of the age, was not only a poet and playwright but also a literary critic. His works combine classical balance with contemporary political commentary. He served as poet laureate, and his poem Absalom and Achitophel stands as a brilliant political allegory. The diaries of the time, including Samuel Pepys and John Evelyn, provide valuable insights into the daily life of Restoration Society. Pepys's diary records the events of the Great Fire, the Plague, and life at court, offering an intimate glimpse into 17th century England. And when we see about education, women, and morality, though education remained largely elitist, the Restoration period witnessed a growth in scientific curiosity and rational thought, paving the way for the Age of Enlightenment. The founding of the Royal Society in 1660 encouraged scientific exchange and discovery, with members like Isaac Newton contributing to revolutionary advances. Despite the inclusion of women on stage and in literature, most women had restricted access to education and no formal political rights. However, the visibility of women in public life increased, particularly in court and theatre. Morality in this period was a debated issue. About legacy and significance, we find that the Restoration was both a return to old traditions and a bridge to modern society. It reinstated monarchy, but in a changed, restricted form. The ideals of personal liberty, press freedom, and religious debate began to take root, even amid censorship and persecution. Culturally, it was a rich and dynamic age, producing writers, thinkers, and institutions that laid the groundwork for the 18th century England. Though the reign of Charles II and his brother James II, who followed him in 1685, ended with the glorious revolution of 1688, which deposed James and brought in William and Mary, the Restoration period continued to influence English politics and culture for decades. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box, like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.